Welcome to This Explainer. Today we're going to step into a really quiet, safe space together. We're telling a story about the divine architecture of trust and love. If you've ever felt, I don't know, afraid to open up again, or if you've been carrying this really heavy weight of past hurts, just take a deep breath with me right now. Today, we're diving into some beautiful source material that actually offers a roadmap for overcoming our deepest relationship fears through faith. So let's just walk through this narrative together and really unpack the profound insights these texts have for us. Section 1. The weight of guarded hearts. Acknowledging the past. Because, before we can even talk about healing, we have to acknowledge exactly where we are right now. The source material perfectly captures that tension so many of us feel every single day. Falling in love? It can feel absolutely beautiful, like this magnetic force just pulling your heart forward, making you want to run toward that warmth. But at the exact same time, it can be utterly terrifying, right? Notice this intense tug of war. Your mind clearly remembers the pain of the past, so it immediately steps in like a heavy protective shield. It's just desperately trying to keep you from getting hurt again. It turns into this exhausting, silent battle between your hope for future joy and your sheer instinct to just protect yourself. And honestly, that shield goes up for a really logical reason. Your heart carries so much fear. It's kind of like these massive boulders we just unknowingly strap to our backs every morning. Old disappointments, moments of just deep, agonizing confusion, completely broken trust, and that quiet, persistent ache of loneliness. You've been carrying this immense weight for miles. And truthfully, it is exhausting. But here's an absolutely crucial takeaway from our source. Letting down your guard doesn't mean you're throwing away your hard-earned wisdom. Not at all. It simply means you're making room for something stronger to help carry the load, letting a little bit of peace step in. Moving on to Section 2, When Love Enters Quietly. A gentle arrival. The source emphasizes a deeply beautiful concept here, the sheer power of the word quiet. I mean, we usually expect love or even profound healing to arrive with fireworks, right? Loud declarations, massive shifts in reality. But the text reminds us that true love doesn't actually arrive forcefully. It doesn't scream. It enters your life gently, kind of like a dove taking flight into the still of the night sky, just finding rest in the branches of a quiet tree. It suggests that divine presence uses those exact, uninterrupted, quiet moments to heal the deep, fragile parts of you that all your protective fear and anxiety, it could never actually fix them. So contrast those gentle moments with the chaos of your past. Our source defines love rooted in faith with three incredibly powerful words: patient, kind, and honest. Now, maybe your past relationships felt like a chaotic storm. Maybe they were rushed, manipulative, or emotionally draining, demanding everything while giving nothing back. But the text notes that healthy, divine love has this incredibly soothing, calming cadence to it. It doesn't drain you. Instead, it acts like restorative water to a parched spirit. It's honest enough to bring you genuine peace, and patient enough to just sit with you, wait for you, and allow you the actual time you need to heal. And the ultimate goal of that patient love is profound growth. Love is never, ever supposed to force you into a tiny, confined box or make you lose yourself just to keep the peace. According to the source, real, healthy love brings profound peace right alongside vibrant passion. It creates an environment so incredibly safe and secure that you actually start to blossom outward. Like a flower unfolding toward the sun, you get to become more of who you were inherently created to be, instead of just shrinking down to fit into someone else's mold. Section 3, Ruth, Intentional Choice. Choosing love. To really grasp this intentional choice, our source material turns to ancestral stories. Think of these historical figures as travelers in our own quiet narrative, people who face the exact same uncertainties, fears, and doubts that we do today. I'm going to read this quote softly, and let's just let its emotional weight settle in the room for a moment. Where you go, I will go, and where you stay, I will stay. This is from the ancient text of the book of Ruth. Ruth was stepping into a completely uncertain, honestly daunting future, leaving everything familiar behind her. But she did it with remarkable faith, deliberately choosing love and commitment despite the overwhelming unknown. And because she made that incredibly intentional, brave choice to trust, the text explains she was led directly to Boaz. Our source specifically highlights Boaz as a man who protected, honored, and deeply valued her heart. He acted as a strong, steadfast umbrella against life's harsh storms. Ruth's story is presented to us as this timeless testament that taking a leap of faith, even when your hands are literally shaking, can lead to a love that is profoundly safe and deeply, inherently protective of your vulnerability. Which brings us to Section 4, Esther and Divine Timing, Finding Purpose in Waiting. So if Ruth's story is about the active choice to trust, our second historical traveler, Esther, shifts our focus to the mysterious beauty of how and when that love actually arrives. And who knows but that you have come to your royal position for such a time as this. This beautiful, poetic reminder from the Book of Esther speaks directly to purpose and timing. The text reminds us that sometimes love and healing arrive when you least expect them. It suggests there's a much grander design at play, that specific people are placed in your life for a very specific purpose and for a specific season. And they're often operating on a timeline far beyond what we can even comprehend right now. This is such an encouraging truth to hold on to. In our daily lives, we usually only see our immediate fears, our present anxieties, and maybe the dark clouds of our immediate past. We're kind of like someone holding a single, confusing puzzle piece, totally unable to figure out what the final picture is supposed to be. But the source assures us that a higher perspective sees the fully assembled picture way before we ever do. So if you're sitting in a really difficult season of waiting right now and it feels completely confusing or isolating, let this comfort you. That confusion might just be part of a perfectly orchestrated divine timing that will seamlessly snap together and make complete sense later on. Section 5. The Architecture of Trust. Building Confidence. Now that we've seen how this gentle love operates so quietly through history, the source helps us build our own spiritual foundation to stand on. This next quote is highlighted as one of the most comforting scriptures about the nature of love. Above all, love each other deeply, because love covers over a multitude of sins. It's a gentle reminder that authentic, divine love isn't about demanding unattainable perfection. No, it's like a warm, heavy blanket tenderly draped over our broken pieces on a cold night. It's meant to be deeply restorative, covering our past pains, our flaws, and our mistakes with just an absolute abundance of grace. But how do we actually begin to accept that covering? Well, by looking at this profound, grounding guidance from Proverbs. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. We have to consciously release our desperate need to logically overanalyze every single interaction. When your mind is acting like this locked box of anxiety, constantly trying to predict every possible hurt, you're leaning entirely on your own limited understanding. The text invites us to break those heavy mental chains, to actively surrender that deep-rooted fear, and to just trust entirely in a divine guidance that promises to lead us toward peace. The material suggests that when you finally do surrender that fear, you arrive at this really powerful, life-altering realization. Healing your guarded heart means finally accepting that, hey, not everyone you meet is sent to hurt you. Healthy, life-giving, respectful love actually exists in this world. And honestly, the most beautiful part of this framework is that when faith and trust are involved, this kind of love doesn't just awaken your romantic emotions, it radiates outward, providing this incredible bedrock of safety that actively and undeniably strengthens your entire spirit. Section 6. Remaining open to love. Moving forward safely. As we start to wrap up, our source material offers a really gentle, practical roadmap for the path forward. Because listen, you do not have to choose between being safe and being open. You can absolutely protect your peace and set healthy boundaries while still walking forward into new relationships. You can pray for clarity and discernment while still allowing yourself to feel deeply and love fiercely. And the central anchoring message here is remarkably clear. You can trust that whatever is truly meant for you will never, ever require you to abandon your inherent worth to receive it. I want to leave you with a final thought from our explainer today. You know, we as humans spend so much of our precious time bracing for the pain of the past to repeat itself. We're just constantly looking over our shoulders. But ask yourself this beautifully disruptive question. What if the next person isn't sent to break your trust? What if the next person is actually sent to teach you gentleness again? Just let that promise of a safe, divine love sink in deeply. Thank you so much for joining me today. Take really good care of your heart